Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that.
Y'all. Yo. Peace, power, prosperity to the village. Y'all know what time it is. Hope everybody having a beautiful day so far. Hope everybody being productive. Yo. Short intro. We going right into the video here. And it's him, Slim Trim, and I'm built to it. And I am Granny's baby. Numero uno flaco fuerte. Yo. Hope you're having a beautiful one. Hit your likes on the way in. Right. Subscribe, share it, push it out to other people, other big area. Without further ado, quick spinning. So if you don't know by now, Candace and Erika Kirk had a sit down. After she went on TV and said stop, they talked behind the channels, which is good. I think that shit was good. Being that one's the friend and one's the wife of CK, right? Rest in peace once again, bro. I'm glad that they had a conversation on the back channels, which turned out to be a meeting, which happened on the 15th. And the purpose of the meeting, what Candace prescribed that she would have liked from the meeting, a desire to receive from the meeting, was pretty much answers to her questions, right? Clarification on things that to her were still muddy or blurry. Let's just say things were still blurry to her and she would like some answers. And the reality is, what better place to get the answers from but the source, right? She's a new big dog on the block. So not only that, she's the wife. Provide the answers. Let's chop it up. But Candace is about to tell you what came out of the interview. I got my own take on this one. I feel personally like Candace is doing the same thing she's always done. Candace is shooting these shows for 1 hour blocks. She got them damn kids, not them damn kids, but you know what I mean. She got them kids. I take that back. I want to say damn kids. She got them kids. She got the husband. She got household stuff to do. Straight like that, right? She's shooting 1 hour shows, max. I think like the longest one I seen was like an hour 10. She picks this slot. She shoots in that slot and goes back to her life, researching and talking, whatever. She's knowing she can give out everything that they talked about. I know she's holding back more that was spoken about inside that damn room. Ain't no two ways. Ain't no two ways she revealed everything. But we about to see what she has to say. Speed is turned up. Let me know if sound is good and we rolling here. Appreciate all the insomniacs pulling up.
A new system had to be put into place, and by no means did Erika give any person the authority to go out and say that call something was a lie. It kind of turned into this big thing. Whatever. Okay, that kind of obviously was not the meat of the reason that we wanted to sit down. I will say I was immediately refreshed by the fact that one of the first things that Erika did was she owned the lies, or rather, I guess they would cage it as miscommunications that were coming from various people at the company. Like, look, this is a company with 650 people that are employed. Everybody at this time is exceedingly emotional, and they are communicating. And no matter what somebody says on Twitter, they assume that this communication has come down from management, and that's not always a circumstance. But they owned right away, which felt great, that if you guys recall, Erika sat down with Glenn Beck. I actually missed this portion because I didn't get to watch the interview in its entirety, and we were pulling clips because a lot was coming out very quickly. But there was a portion that was going around that was viral, and it was Erika saying that she had Charlie's phone and that Charlie never texted anybody the night before saying that he thought that they were going to kill him. And that obviously reflected poorly on me because I was the one who said that he did, in fact, text multiple people the night before. And then I went on Jimmy Dore on Friday, Jimmy Dore show, and I clarified. I said, Andrew Colbert told me specifically that he.
All right, here goes my first issue, dog. Let's really. And this is what I do. When things are seeming to get complicated, right? They're starting to go down these trails. They're starting to be unclear. I just think about simple. I go back to just keep it as simple as possible. So you're saying his wife, Erika, he never told his own wife, mother of his 2 children, that he thinks somebody is out to get me. Y'all, you serious though? You stop. Just stop and think. He never told you not one time to your face. Your argument is that he never texted to anybody else. That is fine. Did he ever relay this type of sentiment to you? Being the wife and the mother of the children, he has never brought this to your attention? That is hard to believe, yo. That is extremely hard to believe that he's talking to everybody else, the TPUSA homies, right? The ones that I think betrayed him. He's talking to them about the shit. And I think one other guy was a security guy. But as the wife, he has never brought this up to you, which lends credence to something else that I've been lingering around in this space. I don't want to. They was beefing, or it wasn't like it was supposed to be, or whatever the case is, right? They was actually in turmoil. Cool, got it. Seeing the way how Erika behaves, I could believe it. I could believe she's somebody very, very hard to be around. Because like I said, I think she's phony. I really do think she's phony.
He was one of the people that received this text message. So I got that first person. I didn't get that from a source. I got that directly from Andrew Colbert. And then somebody who had access to Dan Flood's communications said that Dan Flood similarly received a text message. They owned that right away and explained. Erika said that she has Charlie's phone. She's looking at his iMessages. And it turns out that he, like everybody else, communicates on Signal. He communicates on Telegram. And that when she heard me say that, they then went and looked, and yes, that what I said was true. Andrew Colbert received a message the night before, and Dan Flood received a message the night before. Now, they asked me if I had actually like a concrete copy of what Dan Flood got the night before, and I said no. Somebody told me what it said, which was almost exactly what Andrew said, which is they're going to kill me. Andrew did not know who they were, the they that he was referring to were, but they clarified that the message that Dan Flood received said the left is going to kill me. So I can't confirm that one way or the other. I have to trust them on that because I did not see that concrete message. I was told that it said they. Now, obviously, we discussed the moment, and I'm laughing here because you TikTokers are actually out of control. You guys are going to be the reason that Israel gets TikTok.
There's a trick that's in there. There's a trick in it. What does it matter how I got the information? Is the information true? Does the information ring true? Right? I see y'all popping in and out. Big salute to y'all. Appreciate all the support. Hit the buttons. Them shits is free. That's all we ask, that you help push this video out there so more people get to it. It's the algorithm. I get the views. That's all. That's it. What is more important? You have the information. They confirm that what you said is right. Why would they ask you, do you have the proof of it? Because what if they lied and said it still never happened and she did have the proof of it? She's going to drop that bomb on them too. Because you know, she's real good at setting the hook. She's good. She's real good at baiting it in. I won't be surprised if she does have the evidence. I won't be surprised if she does have the evidence.
Because you guys are acting a fool all the time. And the videos were so hilarious of you guys mocking the Barry Weiss interview. It's great. It's good to laugh at ourselves. And Barry Weiss is always worth laughing at. But I was sort of like, hey, I felt name checked by the podcaster, Candace Owens, this obvious setup, and then asking me to stop. And it's interesting to hear Erika say that the reason she didn't ask me to stop in the beginning, because she was actually learning things from the show. She was actually learning things. And that I think she similarly felt that Barry Weiss was trying to create a moment. Obviously, it's who Barry Weiss is. It's the Zionist lobby. She's trying to right perceived wrongs because I'm against her side. That does not surprise me. That's kind of why Barry Weiss exists. That's the reason they put her at CBS, is because she's just committed to stacking the audience with people that are going to present the pro-Israel cause and talk about anti-Semitism and talk about like crime being on the rise. It's kind of an embarrassment, but I actually do accept that. And I should also clarify that Barry Weiss obviously picked those questions. They were not random, like I told you. It wasn't like people were coming to the mic and it was an open mic and they didn't know what they were going to get. It was all very much planned by Barry. But Erika said that she knew the general idea, like they were going to mention me and mention the conspiracies, but she was not given that specific, the podcaster, Candace Owens, question. So I think that's very clear about up. Now, I did not at all recant any of my suspicions, and I understand people disagree with me about particular people at Turning Point USA. I communicated what I communicated in front of the whole world. My skin crawled after I spoke to Terrell Farnsworth, the person who took the cameras down. He lied to me several times. I explained to them, which felt good to have that direct communication, how Terrell lied multiple times, and that I did not understand why he was there that day. They echoed what he said. They defended what he said, that they were trying something new that day, that they typically live stream, which is what Terrell said. They typically live stream, and I said every college event. Well, they said, well, yeah, they live stream the events that are tour stops, but they don't live stream like the outside prove me wrong type events. And that was something that was new and it required Terrell. And I said, even if that was all real, if that was all true, I still didn't feel good about the conversation that I had with Terrell, and I can't ignore my gut about the many little lies that he told. I thought the video he recorded was weird. I know he comes from a very powerful family. I personally do not trust him. And I obviously do not like the fact that I said, Tyler Boyer lied about this thing and said, came up with an excuse and said, well, Terrell was asked to take the camera down. That's the reason, he said on Twitter, because the police wanted him to take it down and secure the footage. And I said, I know that's not true. And they said, well, after all of that, after he took the cameras down, there was a police officer or Fed, whoever it was, that spoke to him and asked him to secure the footage. Well, that makes sense, but it's not a reason for why he took it down immediately. It makes sense that as you're investigating, you're going to say, who's got the footage? Let's lock it down. But it didn't make sense to me that Tyler Boyer lied about it. And I don't trust Tyler Boyer. And that is never going to change. Similarly with Rob McCoy, he makes my skin crawl. I can't explain it.
It's so weird that they line about the most baby ass shit. So it's like the heavy questions, that the real big things, the real big chickens that we really have to talk about, nobody's going to believe you. It's the simplest questions that were being asked, the simplest things that she was bringing up in the beginning became points that way they just lied about it for no reason. Well, of course they have their reasons, but it just made them look worse in the end. Like right now, they look horrible.
I look at him and he's a bad person and nobody can make me feel one way or the other about that. I was surprised to learn, and this is kind of gets into, I guess, us not knowing the inner workings at Turning Point USA, that Rob McCoy actually does not work with Turning Point USA in any capacity whatsoever. And so him communicating as he has done, like, I'm the pastor, I'm this, I'm that, it's just not real. Like, that is not real. And we should know that that's not real. And when he says that, call him out on that separately from Turning Point USA. I was operating under the assumption that he worked for Turning Point USA. And I said, if obviously that's wrong, I'm happy to correct that. But also, what were we to assume when he hit the stage at the memorial and said, I'm America's pastor, and then had the Wikipedia updated and said, well, I'm assuming he had it updated because who else would do that he started Turning Point USA Faith. So I guess to be clear, we were just wrong about that. And I will have a lot more to say about Rob McCoy and where I believe he fits into a lot of things. So I'm not letting up on that. Now, one piece of this where
that's the whole church arm, right? Where they when you start thinking about the Zionist thing and the church infiltration thing, right? And you could see that there's people in there which have these loyalties to the Zionists and Zionist agendas, right? If you infiltrate the church, then the regular average, just an American Christian, right? You can start influencing them. And just because you're using the name, think about the name Turning Point. It's a hot name. So the name kind of comes with this level of trust, a level of accountability. The name, the reputation that comes with it, right, is more right wing. It has some great Christian roots and ideals in it. It's about life and all these great things that we, most of us in this regular world every day, is prescribed to, right? We prescribe to live in love and light and live in peace and harmony amongst each other and treat each other with respect and dignity, right? That's what we prescribe to naturally. And TPUSA comes with that type of reputation. Look how many people could just be lured in. Hence the reason why when Charlie was backing out, they had to go fix it. You smell me?
Don't understand it, and the magic bullet. Okay, now we all recall what happened. I casually say on the show, hey, I saw the footage, there was no blood. And honestly, when I said it, I didn't process how big of a deal that was with the 30-06. Very quickly, what happens is Andrew Colvett whips up this tweet about what happened with the bullet, and he said he wanted to address all the discussion that was being had about the online chatter. I'm obviously paraphrasing here. He says, I apologize, it's going to get graphic, but he spoke with the surgeon. The bullet should have gone through. The surgeon then explained that what he's typically seen on these wounds, and basically this was all a miracle. Charlie saved lives, even in death. And the internet clocked it, this miracle, the healthy bone. His bone was so healthy and the density was so impressive. Like, this is a quote, by the way. His bone was so healthy. I want to read it. This is allegedly from a surgeon. Quote, his bone was so healthy and the density was so impressive that he's like the man of steel. It should have gone through and through. It likely would have killed those standing behind him too. And we were just like, that kind of was like the beginning of the WTF, right? I feel like that was kind of the beginning of it. And immediately people in the comments responded to Andrew, and this individual said, this post is so fake as it would violate HIPAA. Like, there's patient privacy. You can't just call up the surgeon. And then Andrew Colvett replies and says, rest assured, I would not have posted without full permission. Now, he said he spoke to the surgeon, and they confirmed that Andrew spoke to the surgeon, but that they did not know that he was going to write that tweet. They did not know that he called up the surgeon. So, like, this very much came across to be like Andrew was just
this is
lying.
Weird. If you describe the way that somebody is not alive anymore, how is that HIPAA? HIPAA would be more along the lines of you just disclosing somebody's medical status because they're alive. But just saying how they are deceased and the reasons why they were deceased, like how it happened, I don't know if that's HIPAA. I'm not 100% sure on that. Maybe it is, but HIPAA sounds more like you're talking about people's medical conditions, not necessarily if you possibly are deceased because of a disease, I could see that being HIPAA. But it's a bullet, right? So I don't know. I just think that's kind of weird.
By the seat of his pants, I don't know. Like he was just flying dark on, and I was like, that seems very strange to me, because why would a surgeon do that? Like the first thing the surgeon should say is, I can't speak to you. I don't even know. In theory, Andrew wasn't even there when Charlie died. I don't even know why the surgeon even knows this guy, actually. Maybe he hung around after, but you know, Andrew was not one of the people that got to the hospital or anything like that. So this is quite literally the PR guy who's calling the surgeon, and so that just seems very inappropriate for a person to do, period. And I would say it was kind of the beginning, but that was what I got from that. Now, obviously, we discussed the security. I brought up Brian Harpole, this interview with Sean Ryan, and I think we can believe Turning Point when they say that they did not approve of this. They had no idea he was going on Sean Ryan. I think that's pretty clear. I don't believe he works there anymore. So that was kind of him just getting out there and perhaps trying to rescue his own reputation. And I think that only made his reputation worse, actually, because people rightfully sensed that he wasn't telling the truth in that interview, that he was being cagey, that he was saying things that didn't make any sense. Again, you constantly have these people that believe, like Brian Harpole, that with enough performance, he can sit down and you're just going to convince people that this is real. And this is just a different time. Like I said, these TikTokers are out of control. They will check you in 4 seconds. Okay. Things that the biggest piece of this that I want to communicate, and that I did communicate to them, and I hope that they took me seriously on this, or rather that they take my strong advice on this. I said, one of the reasons why I really want to sit down is because I want to walk out of here and feel confident saying to my audience, hey, like, there's stuff going on behind the scenes, but Tyler Robinson shot Charlie Kirk. Like that, more will come out, but you can take it from me that this is what happened. I was looking to achieve that because there's been a lot of signaling from various people, some people who are experts, some people who have been involved in cases, that there's obviously going to be stuff that the public does not have access to.
Right.
And so it is at least plausible that they have seen very clear footage that we've been asking for of Tyler Robinson getting up there and taking the shot. Like they have access to UVU.
This is the part that plays a trick with my brain. They couldn't clearly see him. They used AI to advance the photo so they could figure out who it was. And in 2025, the height of technology, not name one of them pictures is clear, not name one of them videos is clear. Everything's blurry. And people got HD cameras on cell phones. People got HD cameras right here. You got cameras that are crazy nice with definition. Look at Candace's camera right now. Definition like a mug. But we ain't got not one good, solid, clean picture of this dude. Y'all realize that? Did anybody realize that? None of these shits are clear in 2025.
Camera. So I was hoping to hear that. And I said that I want to hear why people feel so confident at Turning Point USA that Tyler Robinson is the guy. And at this point, they elected to call the lawyer, like, you know, their lawyer who is involved in this case, one of the lawyers that's involved in this case. There's always a team of lawyers, especially for something like this. And what I got from the lawyer did not make me feel that Tyler Robinson shot Charlie Kirk. It did not make me feel confident that he didn't or did shoot Charlie Kirk. I was very surprised by this. He spoke a very long time. I asked, you know, can you share with me what it is? And I said, when you share this with me, I will not say what that thing is. If we want to protect the integrity of the case, I'm not gonna. If you say we've got the footage of him taking a shot, I promise I won't say that to the audience. But I will communicate to them that you have something that is solid. And no, to the exact contrary, this guy effectively said, not effectively, he said that they have nothing but the affidavit. Okay, so what we have seen is what they have. What is being discussed publicly, you are this whole like non-expert problem with like, well, you don't know. It's like what you read, his messages that don't have any dates on it, Tyler Robinson writing out everything and the clean alibi, that's what they have. And what he explained to me was that that's the affidavit stage. That's where it's at. And then what takes place now is the investigation is ongoing, right? So right now they're looking for more information. And once investigators, they could very well have obviously footage. And that is why they might feel that, oh, we're definitely going to get this prosecution. But the reality is they don't actually share that information with the victim. They don't share that information with Erika. They don't, in this part of the process, they will not know what investigators have discovered. This is what the lawyer told me until May.
Until May.
Okay. They have not seen anything that you have not seen, is what I want you to know.
So pretty much they got to wait till May.
So with that in mind,
which may it be the other hearing, which the cause to see if it's really going to go to trial, pretty much, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, what the fuck?
Sitting here going, why are you signaling? Why do I feel like
this whole shit is a mess, dog. It's a complete mess. I'm standing where I stand on it. Charlie figured out some shit was looking weird. Call for that Doge audit, sorry. Call for the audit. They got bummy. He was not fucking around with the Zionists no more. He was moving in a new direction, and they had to put an end to it simply because Charlie's voice, his presence was too fucking galvanizing. He was drawing people in on a daily basis. And with that new conversation that he's having about the war, a new conversation about him being anti-war in over there in that area, right? Him being anti-Zionist and talking about the bullshit. That's why they knocked him. I don't care what nobody say. I'm not budging off that point. I get it. There's planes to talk about. There's the follow the money rhetoric. That's why I think they took him out. Just that simple to me. It's still fucked up because the reality is the people that he trusted around him to run this company with him, to represent him when he's not there, to speak on his behalf when he's not there, what did him bad. And I do think that Erika is involved. I don't care what nobody say. I think Erika is completely involved in this shit. Just can't believe she's not.
The public's being gaslit on this.
And I already told y'all why last week.
There's been nothing that's convincing. There are so many commentators who have gone out and said to you, it's overwhelming. The evidence is overwhelming. The text messages that don't have a date, that don't even sound real, that's overwhelming. That to me feels really fake and gay. I really do want to say that to every commentator that is out there trying to
allegedly, thank you,
tell the public and insisting that if you say it enough times to become real, you're actually just being dishonest. And I offered that a more honest way to communicate would be to say, we think he's involved. We feel strongly. I've said that. I think he's involved. We are very hopeful that throughout this investigation, we are going to get that concrete thing. And that's where we're at right now. That's just the stage that we are at.
Yeah, for sure.
That is not what we are getting from them. That is like, I just feel like that's really important to let you guys know. Let the gaslighting stop. They have what you have. Okay. There is nothing else. They are in an investigative stage. Erika has been named as the victim. They will know more in this May hearing, which is the probable cause hearing. That's what the lawyer told me, it's probable cause hearing. And that's when they will see the evidence. That's when they get to present the evidence, why they are going to stand there before a judge and be like, yes, we need to move this forward. It's not just an affidavit. We're not pulling together scraps. We have concrete evidence.
Right.
Until then, okay, until we all get on the same page and understand what else they have. There are guns at a range. He knows guns. Okay. He said what he saw was a smaller gun. He said that this person was dressed in black tactical gear and there was no recoil. That's devastating. That would be devastating to the prosecution. And yet investigators haven't reached out. Now they offered back, well, maybe they haven't reached out because they have an even clearer video. And that's true. That's actually a good rebuttal. They're like, we don't even have to talk to this guy because the video will speak for itself. And we saw what we saw.
This is why I don't like that argument right there, because wouldn't the more evidence be better? If your argument is that he did not do it, having more evidence would make your case stronger. So the reaching out point doesn't make sense to me either. I'm with you on that one. And the way it's looking right now, they don't have a case.
Okay, but wouldn't you still want to speak to the other guy so you could prepare? I don't know, to question him something. I don't like that this investigation is going on, and I feel as though I spoke to more people than they have. I think Mikey's not his real name. They thought it was his middle name actually. And I just assumed, okay, well, maybe he's using his middle name and that's why I can't find him. But Mikey really wants you guys to know that is his real name. And it is his real name. I found out shortly thereafter.
Been detained or stopped or something, not in immediate danger. I pause, I look around me and I see Mikey.
So the first, oh my God, I'm about to blow a fuse. Okay. The first time I heard this dude started talking about this shit, dog, We're talking about somebody sending a bullet into a crowd. That's all you know. A gun just went off. And you telling me you can't remember the details. That's insane work to me. That is insane. Come to find out, this dude full of shit too. Come to find out, this dude has some racist conversations. What are we doing here, dog? This whole thing is a fucking mess. Listen to how he relays this story right here.
I see Mikey there, and I will never forget what I saw, because I've seen Mikey almost every day for the past 2 years. I know his personality very well. He's a very bubbly guy. He's a very happy guy almost all of the time. And I'll never forget what I saw, because it was clear in the moment that he was profoundly freaked out. What I'll always remember is the way his lip was quivering, which I'd never seen before. And you very rarely see from someone that he was freaking out. And then I think he literally said to me, I might be imagining this, but I think what he literally said was, he was looking around, and then he says, I need to call Erika. And then he takes his phone and he begins calling Erika. And I don't want to disclose how that call unfolded, but he did that. Your mind extends all of this, but that is happening within a minute of all of this occurring. I remember he calls Erika. Around the same time, I pull out my phone and I call my mom just to say, Mom, there's been a shooting. You're going to see it on the news. I'm okay. Pray for me. I've got to go. And I remember that call. And around the time I put that phone away, and then he immediately calls his dad. He calls Rob McCoy, and he says, Dad, someone shot Charlie. You need to call all of your pastor friends. Charlie was hit. We need everyone to pray.
How do you know all of this, bro? If he was busy doing your own thing. How do you know who he called? If he was busy doing your thing on your phone, he said he needs to call Erika. Cool. That's it. How do you know all that?
Right now. And that's what he told him.
Okay, so that's just not right. And so when he says, I might be imagining this, I'll never forget, followed by, I might be imagining this, probably means that maybe you forgot, and like you.
And then said, I will never forget.
Really could be imagining. Also, that off, I have that.
Call logs from the dude that he's sitting there lying and defending. This is the call log.
In detail, Charlie's brought to security. Mikey McCoy calls his wife. They will stay on the phone for 10 minutes. Okay. In that same minute, because we know this, because Blake Neff has given us his call log to his mother. Blake Neff called his mom. His call with his mother lasted 45 seconds. So we're assuming it went to 12:25. It very well could have stayed in 12:24, depending on the millisecond. Blake Neff ends that phone call with his mother. Mikey McCoy, after the phone call with his mother ends, adds Erika to the phone. Okay. So that when he was recapping and he's like, oh, his lips quivering, and he's like, I got to call Erika. He's like, and then I called my mom. That's not right. That's just not right. Okay. Mikey called Erika after Blake Neff ended that phone call with his mother. If call logs are to be believed above, human testimony. Mikey McCoy then drops Erika from the phone call 2 minutes later, and then he adds his father to the phone call. Again, he is this entire time on the phone with his wife. Okay. And then Mikey McCoy ends his phone call with his father. He does call another person who I'm not mentioning, because it's just not relevant to anything, not a character in the story, rather. And then he ends the phone call with his wife. And a minute later, his brother calls him back, and they stay on the phone for 10 minutes. I did not get this from everybody speaking about this Mikey McCoy call log. I know that you guys did not get this. I did not get this. I don't know why she was disappeared from this. Like, you could go, look, the wife wants privacy. No, she was main stage at the memorial.
I can understand why you didn't get it. I get it. I get that part. I think that makes sense. I think that makes sense. Nobody would have his call log per se, but not as provided.
Memorial has been, he's this entire time.
Yeah, God.
Time on the phone with his wife. Okay. And then Mikey McCoy ends his phone call with his father. He does call another person who I'm not mentioning, because it's just not relevant to anything, not a character in the story, rather. And then he ends the phone call with his wife. And a minute later, his brother calls him back, and they stay on the phone for 10 minutes. I did not get this from everybody speaking about this Mikey McCoy call log. I know that you guys did not get this. I did not get this. I don't know why she was disappeared from this. Like, you could go, like, the wife wants privacy. No, she was like, main stage at the memorial, has been, I would say very involved in a lot of this kind of, like, I think it's very close that she's close with Erika. They went on the vacation together. So I didn't.
The more this goes on, is the more you find out how full of shit these people are. I wonder how many people that donated their hard-earned dollars are looking at this right now. Imagine blood, sweat, and tears. 8 to 10 hours a day in somebody else's establishment to turn around and give them some support. And come to find out, it's some bullshit going on over and it's corrupted. Because there's no way you can't tell me there's no corruption going on here.
I don't get this disappearing act. I found that to be like, okay, but they were forthcoming with it. That feels good. That feels good, guys. Like, wow, we don't have to guess. Now we have solid answers. And like I said, when you come out and give solid answers and you're not weird and calling people names and saying all this stuff, it allows people to go, okay, I feel a bit more like we can trust this process because we have communication. That's the reality.
There's no trust. Nah. And I think you mean, I don't think you mean you trust them. I think you mean journalistic trust in a way where actions of good faith, right, gives you a sense of a little bit more relaxation, right? So I think that's what you. I highly doubt you trust them.
And so I wanted to update you with that. Also, another thing that really, I think, surprised them and I think surprised me is getting back to this Hamptons retreat. The thing about the Hamptons retreat, and I communicated this with them, that makes me so uncomfortable is how many little lies were told. I think I've been clear about that. Like, Seth Dillon definitively pressed Charlie at this event, whether it was in a hypothetical, which it was in a hypothetical, but he got fired up in the hypothetical of Charlie discussing potentially tweeting something against Bibi Netanyahu. It did lead to this firecracker moment. Again, this is one of those things where I go, why am I always being hung out to dry for telling people the truth? Especially when I wasn't going, oh, well, Seth Dillon killed Charlie Kirk. I just, like, this happened. It factually happened. And yet everybody's kind of putting out these weird statements and they're not being honest in them. And I was saying that made me feel really weird. And I would love to know more about this Bibi Netanyahu offer to fund Turning Point to the next level. At which point Erika said she was not aware of that happening. It is obviously.
Yo, KJ, I don't. There's parameters that we could deal with people in, right? So I don't trust Candace to come inside my house and cook. But I do trust that she does work, and I do trust that she actually goes seeks out information. I do trust she has journalistic integrity. That I do trust. Simply because when she stumbles and makes mistakes, she admits to them. Instead of just brushing it past like it doesn't exist, she actually does come out and say, my bad. You hear me? So so when she does gain points for having that level of integrity. But again, but if she doesn't know who did it, then that means she's in it. I don't think she's involved. I don't think she's involved at all, KJ.
Totally possible that was kept.
Now, Erika, on the other hand, yeah.
In the business lane of Turning Point USA, but I'm certain, I said I am absolutely certain that I did not get this from an obscure source that Bibi offered to fund Turning Point to the next level. And it was part of my frustration with that sit down with Alex Clark, where Andrew said, oh, there was not $150 million that's made up. I told them, Andrew Colvett was my source. Andrew Colvett told me verbatim that Bibi Netanyahu offered to take Turning Point to the next level and that Charlie turned that money down. So I said, there's a bit of a predicament when I'm being like lambasted by all of these voices and people that are attacking me and these paid campaigns. And when I say paid, yes, okay, actually have the names of people different ways they're being paid. Some are being paid by PR firms. Too many are being paid by Prager University, which is upsetting to me because I know Marissa and it's just dirty. But it's especially crazy when people are calling it a conspiracy when I share things that are told to me from the spokesperson of Turning Point USA. Okay, that's weird. And yes, they were forthcoming. Nobody's ever denied this, so this was not on our list of lies about the fact that Bibi Netanyahu did call him. Okay, that did happen. Bibi shared that, by the way. Our source for that could have just as well been Bibi Netanyahu, and not a
Another dumb lie. I don't understand why they just lying about the dumbest shit.
lot of clarity on, I don't know, why some people say
Yeah,
he didn't
I remember
make
that.
this offer, and why definitively 3 different sources who would have knowledge of this confirmed to me that Bibi Netanyahu did indeed make this offer. I never said $150 million ever, not once on this show, was exactly where Erika had been on that day, and that was inaccurate. And so for clarity, I had been working on the last week on turning it into an intraplanes, because once I was able to connect people that were on those planes onto other Egyptian planes, I was able to realize that these planes are flying in and out of Israel. How these 4+ rated by the top that are actually laughing. Okay.
This thing about the planes, the plane thing, sure. I believe it. I believe it. I have no reason to distrust it. It's still just blurry right now, if that makes sense. It's blurry enough right now. Maybe with some more clarification, I'll be jacking it, right? But as of right now, it's still a little bit blurry. But I do see the direction that it's headed into. I believe I know the direction it's going into. But if we have to talk about hard up facts, right, then we have to talk about the shit that we know for a fact they lied about. We have to talk about the factual things. We can't get off we can't go off the rails per se. What she is doing is called journalism. So she's investigating and put information out there. She's not pinning anything down. The things that she can pin down, she pins it down. She drives the nails into it, right? But the reality of it is, pound for pound, we can only really deal with what is true. Everything else is allegedly, oh, it looks like, we're thinking about. I'm not a journalist. You dig it? Golly. KJ, you gotta say allegedly, bro.
Like,
I think you, Carl Moore. I think you're a dude. If you're not a dude, my fault. When people lie about dumb stuff. Yep. They are destroying their own reputation. They are destroying their reputation, not just individual what the fuck? Not just their individual reputations, but they're destroying the reputation of something that they really did not build. They was there for it, but this is Charlie's thing. Let's just be completely honest about it.
Inside Candace Owens' sadistic and dangerous world, monetizing baseless conspiracies. This is after, by the way, they changed my husband's Wikipedia and said that he was a Qatari, like he had a Qatari passport or citizenship. I don't think my husband's ever even flown over Qatar. I could be wrong, but I don't think I know he's never been to Qatar. I don't think he's ever flown over Qatar. And they're just making it up, and then they make it trend no matter what it is. And I'm like, this is happening. It's like a psychological operation because they're trying to keep us constantly responding as opposed to focusing on our investigation. Which huge studio since genuinely made me laugh so hard because I never once in the entire cover investigation on my family, I'm like, that's said a week ago that I have no security. Okay, this is Tim Pool a week ago.
She is burning everything down, and she's gloating and smiling while she does it. And you know what you told me? She has no security. She doesn't deal with the we have to deal with. She's a piece of She has security.
Let me address the Tim Pool thing, by the way, real quick. Tim Pool, you're a cunt. Not Candace. You're the fucking cunt. You heard me? Loud and clear. I said it. Nobody else said it. I said it. Calm down. Calm down. Stop talking to Candace like this. She ain't earn it. Such a fucking baby back bitch, bro. Fucking hey, grow the fuck up.
Just not on the level of you.
Oh, yeah, the one fat guy you mentioned with no wall and no barrier in a suburban neighborhood with neighbors. Shouldn't give two no one's out for her. She's lying about all of this. You told me you went to her house and she's got a 4-foot wall and one fat guy, and she doesn't give a about her security.
So that was like Tim last Monday. This is Tim who said I had no security except for one fat guy, which I told you was not true. Now he's saying this. Take a listen.
Okay, I'll say things that I probably shouldn't say, but I'm going to say, I always get super heated on this. Candace Owens has the same security team as Turning Point and Charlie Kirk did. She's lying. She has the same security people. I've been digging into this.
This dude is such a fucking bitch. Oh my God. Oh God, he's such a fucking bitch. Watch your fucking mouth. You're the cunt.
I've been meeting with people and talking with them, and I shouldn't say too much because there's more that's going to be coming out soon, because rest assured, people are filing legal paperwork against her. Candace has the same security team, or has used the same security companies and the same security personnel as Charlie and Erika did. So when she comes out and is questioning them, she is lying outright. Now, I've invited many of these people to come on. We'll see what happens. We'll see when they can. The issue is, the moment Candace goes on her show to millions of people and lies, litigation begins. And what happens when litigation begins? People don't do interviews about it. She is exploiting this, and she knows she is, to keep people wrapped up in this insanity.
Tim versus Tim, undefeated. And what I will also say is that
he's so weird, yo. He's so weird. Yo, when I cuss people out, it's because they absolutely go earn it. This man is oh,
that's all a lie. It's almost like they have just sent a call, like they're getting too close, and just said, I don't care what you write, I don't care if it's complete fiction, make it believable, say her husband beats her, say her, like it's coming after my husband, they're coming after me, and they're making stuff up. I have never employed the same security team as Charlie Kirk, ever. We went our separate ways early. Actually, there was like, it's obviously been publicized before he had Schaefer Security, and Schaefer Security, which
it was so bad, all I could do was laugh, bro. What?
which was run by Greg Schaefer, who has issued a public statement. They had Dan Flood and Brian Harpool working for them initially. I told Charlie I did not like the security apparatus. I got my own security separate from Charlie from the very beginning. Okay. That's a fact. It just is a fact. There's no way to undo that fact. Trying to do this strategy of you're going to get sued, it's just threatening somebody. If there was any truth to that, you can't just file legal paperwork. You have to send a cease and desist. You have to say, something you said on your show was untrue. Can you please correct this? Okay. And if I ignore that, as I did with Brigitte, because I told the truth, as I did with Kim Clasey, because I told the truth, then you have the grounds to.
Bro, this dude just crashes out constantly. It's like he wants to force people to move, right, in that specific direction that he wants them to move because it's something that he cares about. What is he talking? Yo, so I watched that whole video. Buddy is crying about the midterms and the elections, and he's cussing her out. You think Candace is controlling the fucking midterms? I found that the surgery is in the dollar office. It's about reading. Let's go. God, allegedly, bro.
To file something. We have received no cease and desist from Charlie Security whatsoever. Over what? I mean, the audacity that you're filing a lawsuit and someone got murdered on your watch? Because I accurately said that the Brian Harpool, the message he showed belonged to Dan Flood. It did. And that they didn't do a walkthrough on that day. They didn't. And if something I'm getting wrong and you'd like to show me that actually you did, send it over. We're only interested in getting the truth. And we're not getting it. We're certainly not expecting to get it from Tim Pool. That is crazy. That's just crazy town. But I do think that is right now a Zionist strategy. And that's why I want to encourage you guys to stay focused. Watch Huka trial, the upcoming trial about Tyler Robinson. And here's what they had to say. Take a listen.
So this is straight from the charging document. It says Robinson's mother explained that over the last year or so, Robinson had become more political and started to lean more to the left, becoming more pro-gay and trans rights oriented. She stated that Robinson began to date his roommate, a biological male who was transitioning genders. This resulted in several discussions with family members, but especially between Robinson and his father, who have very different political views. In one conversation before the shooting, Robinson mentioned that Charlie Kirk would be holding an event at UVU, which Robinson said was a, quote, stupid venue for the event. Robinson accused Kirk of spreading hate. And when you see how easy that rooftop access is, you start to kind of put one and one together, and you realize that Robinson had a plan that he was going to ultimately take advantage of. And he obviously knew how easy it was to get up to that rooftop, which is terrifying.
It really is.
This is why I think they in on it. They're not even thinking for themselves. They don't have any questions about anything. They don't see nothing a little bit off with this. Okay. All right.
And look, one of the other things that's being pushed around for a long time is that,
of course they don't, because they're the ones who did it.
TPU.
So keep pushing the narrative, right?
USA, both the local chapter and you guys didn't advertise this event till a couple days prior to. Now, the insinuation there is that doesn't give Tyler enough time to plan for this. And what we found out with a little bit of, 20, not even 5 minutes of Googling and looking,
that's
you guys had already put out on your website as early as August 27th. So we had at least almost a full 2 weeks prior to this, that not only the time of the event, but the location, the exact location of the UVU courtyard. So when you have over 10 days of planning, and it sounds like that Tyler already was familiar with the campus to begin with, like a lot of the mystery of this starts to go out the window, and it starts to really conform with what is exactly being proposed by the state of Utah and the FBI in the charging documents.
Yeah, and we can attest, Andrew Cipher, who's our head of field, Charlie sometimes throw the events out, 7-10 days in advance. If something opened up in his schedule, he would be able to do these outdoor events, a pretty quick turn. And so those whole that whole theory kind of goes out the window.
So unless I am mistaken, and I am not perfect, but I do feel like we worked really hard to see when this location was first revealed. The first time that we found that the courtyard was mentioned, because Charlie's speaking at events, so your assumption would be they're inside, right? You have no idea where it is. So it's not like you can see whether you have a shot to the courtyard unless you know Charlie's speaking in the courtyard. The earliest that we found that was on September 2nd. The local media mentioned on KMYU that Charlie was speaking at UVU in the courtyard. Okay, that's the first time that we found this. If I am wrong, please tag me, because what he's referring to on August 27th that happened, which we have on our timeline as well, and this is why I love a timeline, is that TPUSA, UVU, and locally, they must have footage after September 2nd of him testing the rooftop in some capacity to then
text messages. You can
opportunity for me to go out.
Viva, where, and this has been authenticated as somebody who was in the Discord chats with them and apparently spent time with them at this apartment. And he said 100% this is how they talked, which is a striking finding. We're going to go into that more probably tomorrow or the next day, depending on how today goes. But I mean, I get the skepticism on this. At first, it struck me too, but apparently this is how they talk, Viva.
That was not the most implausible thing to believe.
Yeah.
So you have a text message. It does read, regardless of whether or not this is how they talk.
I don't know if y'all know who this is, but this is Viva Frey. He's decent. He's decent. I when I catch his shows, I watch him.
People saying they were manufactured by or drafted by AI. To the extent that they're confirmed text messages, you can come to whatever conclusions you want after that. But whether or not this is how they talk regularly, to the extent that those were authentic text messages, they show what they show, which is whether or not his lover was aware of what was going on. You're etching bullets, and it's maybe not for target practice of a sporting nature. But like when I say I don't believe the official narrative, and you have to go back to a number of things here. I put my sort of best theory as to what went down. I want to know who was on the Discord chat in advance, what they were discussing, and whether or not there might have been some other foreign, I say foreign, not foreign government, but outer influence there. Tyler Robinson is getting radicalized right about the same time as Thomas Crooks, right about the same time as the other guy, Ryan.
Bro, there was drones. There was drones. There was drones there. When that security guy, I think his name is Dan. This shit is a mess. A complete fuck. Everywhere you turn, it's some bullshit. That's why I say they are in on it. Straight up. There was, yeah, bro. Yes. Not so. they flew drones that day, then I'm sure other people flew their own drones that day in that courtyard area. Real talk. Real talk, bro. They had drones out. There's drone footage out there. It wouldn't be of that specific time. But they had all the footage I've seen doesn't show that. Real talk. All the footage I've seen is not that angle, it's not that. All the footage I've seen is high up and it like just shows the crowd pretty much. I haven't seen it like if you think about it, they in what the fuck is it called? The word for the structure and how it's built is built like a bowl, right? So the lower you are in the bowl and the higher the drone is, you're really not gonna be able to see down there, especially with a tent over here. If that makes sense. You smell me? It's called it's something to do with sound, how they use this structure to reverberate sound around it. I'll do that not one lap. Yeah. It's crazy, bro. It's crazy. And then the security guy said they wasn't allowed to run drones. And then somebody else from TPUSA said they ran drones that morning. Yeah. But you got to think about it. He's under a tent already. Amphitheater, that's what it's called. Thank you, Mike. I'm love once again in the clutch. The amphitheater is built that way for a reason. So it's built like a bowl. So the very center of it is kind of like one of the lowest points and it's flat, but then everything else builds up around it. Like all the stairs and everything else builds up around. It's sound and all this other weird. It's dope as shit when you go to those concerts. But you gotta think about the level of drone. The drone would have to been like a little bit above the crowd and like just like back. You know what I mean? Like hovering. I like a little bit above the crowd, but then shooting that frontward angle. But yeah, all the footage I've seen, the drones were high up in the sky, but they were showing the crowd more than anything else. They wasn't showing him.
Ruth. You know, he's being radicalized at a politically relevant period of time, right around the same time, oddly enough, as the alleged suspect in the January 6th pipe bomber. You know, a time frame where political violence is potentially very useful in for the upcoming election. So the time frame of the radicalization is very interesting. To see whether or not he was on anybody's radar beforehand, we don't yet know that, and why there would not be confirmation on that can lead to suspicion. You remember the old man, George Zinn, arrested for claiming to be the shooter the day of, and then gets busted for CP on his phone. Like, in my mind, if I'm making a plausible theory here, George Zinn was.
That's correct.
Probably on some Discord chat with a bunch of young perverts, and he's an old pervert, and he's getting off doing whatever they do on those chats. He knows what's going down. He shows up there and thinks he's going to be some useful decoy or distraction for Tyler Robinson because they know what's going down. That's my theory. But you know, it is the absence of total disclosure, the total lack of faith that anybody has, not just in the FBI per se, but in any state law enforcement. Nobody has any faith in our institutions anymore. And it leads people to go from, a healthy skepticism to just not believing it, to concocting the most outlandish conspiracy theories imaginable. But then those text messages, you can understand how they will cause people to come to those types of conclusions. And, allegedly the rumors are Kash Patel, getting mad at Tulsi Gabbard and Joe Kent for trying to look into a potential terrorist angle to this also does nothing to foment faith in the system.
Look, I think it's what he's saying there is perfectly valid, and we can all surmise about what we think happened that day. We can also ignore the fact that I broke a story that the nurses were told at Utah Valley, which treated George Zinn. Everyone's just ignoring the things that I broke. She has no evidence, but he told the nurses that he was paid to do that. So whatever, we can all theorize, which we're going to do in the absence of any concrete facts. But I will say it's good that Turning Point is at least giving that air, right? I feel before, I think that might even be the first time Andrew Colbert has expressed that he thought that those messages were weird initially. That's good. That's what people want. They want fresh air at Turning Point USA. They want different perspectives. They want to feel like you're willing to have a conversation.
Yeah, we already went through that. That shit sounds buns. None of it sounds real. People don't talk like that.
And that all smart equity loan right against the possibility that Charlie was electrocuted and that the hole in his neck was made by the currents passing through his necklace and out of his throat. The images of his charred hands are conclusive and compelling.
Now is the electrocution theory. I heard about it already. Not a fan of it, right? Not a fan of it at all. I don't think it was a 30-06 either that did it, to be honest. So you could mod barrels and ammunition and lowers and uppers to do what you want to do. But that was it, gang. That's it. 1 hour in and out skis. Appreciate y'all for kicking it. Y'all already know how we get down in the town square with all this cleaning, all this fair. Ladies, kick up your feet. Have some wine. You can't have no beer. Generals, you know what to do. Don't just stand there and stare. Hold it down. FDNHT is him, slim, trim, and I'm built to. And this is Granny's baby, Flaco Fuerte numero uno. Like, share, subscribe, show some love. I'm dog tired. I'm dog tired out here in these streets. But you know what? I missed y'all. And I figured y'all missed me too. This was overdue. I was supposed to do this one 2 days ago, maybe. But either way, I'm here. It's in the bag. It's more coming because I got work coming. You heard? Bro, look at the heartache. Oh, shit. Dog, you know what? That shit is fucking crazy. That's a good fucking idea, bro. That's a good idea. That's a good idea. That's a good idea, bro. I like that. Who that, Titanium? Yo, pull up, bro. You're more than welcome to pull up to the town square. You already know. Subscribe so you know when we hit the button, you hear me? Take care of yourself so you can take the people that surround you, right? And love yourself so you can love the people that surround you. Y'all know from FDNHT, from Trin, it's a love thing 24/7, 365. Appreciate the support. Hit the buttons, you hear me? I'll see y'all soon. I got Fridays already set in the books. Saturdays already set in the books. You shooting, you hear me? KJ, appreciate you, bro. Yeah, man, turn it on because we pull up. And we sit here and we talk and we chop it up. It'll be a bunch of us in here talking. I do panels sometimes. Sometimes we have freak pod over here. It's crazy over here, man. But it's a good time, dog. It's a good time, and everybody out here, dog, respectful. We attack the ideas. We don't attack the person, right? People out to think how they want to think. People out to express themselves, right? People out to say, this is my life experiences. We can't do nothing about that. But what we will do is treat each other with respect and dignity. You hear me? Until we run into a complete Tim Pool, we good. You hear me? Peace, power, and prosperity. See y'all soon. One love.